In today's world, retailers are overwhelmed with data, both structured and unstructured. What do you think the biggest challenges are for retailers around data?
As you mentioned, every retailer we talk to says they've got too much data. And what do I do with it, right? So how do I leverage the data I've got, knowing that you're going to get a significant amount more data that's going to come in the future? So knowing what a customer does in the store when they don't pick a product, that's as valuable as them putting the product in the basket.
Yeah.
So most retailers today have no idea what happens in their store. Absolutely none at all.
The trick with data is to transform it into something that's useful. And from our perspective, useful means not just insight, but actually business outcome. What do you want to do with that data? How do you want to turn it into information, and what information that you get from it will give you the business outcome that you're looking for? Data, if you take the old analogy of it being oil, is in its very sense crude oil. You can't run your car with crude oil. It has to be refined. It has to go through a process of creating something which is the equivalent of insight, so the information that's necessary. And that refinement process is the same with the data. So from Hitachi's standpoint, we are looking to refine the data and to create something which is then meaningful in a business sense.
Now, there are some times when they don't know what they could achieve, but actually typically a retailer is struggling to achieve something or overcome a problem. The way we work with them to understand that problem, and then ultimately when you work it back, data is included in that, right? So data pervades everything now. Everything
we talk about as true KPIs within retail and hospitality are driven from data. And unless we can actually take the data we've got today, append it and add to it with what is increasingly unstructured information, such as social sentiment on social media, such as video, such as all forms of data which perhaps, whilst it existed, wasn't ingested in the recent past. So by combining that, you get a much more granular view and understanding of the operational aspects of the business. So it's up to us to be able to help the retail environment to create the platform, to ingest that data and turn data into insight. It cuts across the entire horizontal view of retail operations, not just customer segmentation, not just logistics, not just store operations, category management, merchandising or whatever. It's everything. Yeah. I think with data, we are now at last, after 3, 4, 5 years of talking about it, getting towards the opportunity for true data ops, where we have our data scientists to affect that artificial intelligence and machine learning and algorithmic understanding of the data, but now we're going to be looking at data engineers who will be able to interpret it. Now, when we start talking at that level, there aren't that many retail organizations that have that capability.
Yes.
And the reality is, and we talk about the new reality being data centricity, that is what retail is going to have to get its head around. That they then go towards maybe choosing technical partners, and we already start to see this happen today. Being able to work with organisations that do have that as their core skill set, and then can apply that insight based on their own data acquisition and manipulation.
And you've seen a number of large UK retailers and global retailers who've started to reach out to technology partners to try and aid them through this process, and how to overcome business problems. I think that's a good way of doing it, in that you focus on what you're good at. You're a retailer, right? You're not a technology company. So how do you work with the right technology company to enable you to become a better retailer? I think that's fundamental.